This car is important. It's Maruti Suzuki's first electric vehicle, manufactured in Gujarat. And we're here in the UK to experience it. This is the Maruti Suzuki E Vitara. We're going to be spending some time with it behind the wheel, and I'm going to talk to you about styling, interiors, features, and also what it is like to drive. Welcome to Evo India. Welcome to our quick first drive review of the E Vitara. Let's start by talking about styling, because this is not really a style we've seen before. There are hints of other Maruti Suzukis in there, but it's not like a copy-paste of another car which has then been electrified. This is the E Vitara, and you get very distinct looking headlamps, LED units up front. You've got these blacked out bumpers over here, completely blacked out, and of course solid grille. This is an EV, so you don't really need that much ventilation up front. Now over on the side, this black cladding continues along the whole length of the car, and it's actually quite chunky over at the doors. Ground clearance is 185 mm, which should be plenty for India. 19-inch aero-optimized wheels, and in terms of its length, it's a shade under 4.3 meters long, which puts it bang in that Creta EV, Windsor EV segment. And for your charging port, it's right here in the front fender on the left hand side. You've got your AC charger. You can also pull this out and access the faster DC chargers. But yeah, charging port right here, easily accessible on the fender. Then over at the rear, again, you've got this very distinct looking tail section. It's not a full light bar, but it does have distinct tail lamps with a bar connecting it. You've got the E Vitara badge in the center. The E is a bright blue, and you've got this cool looking roof spoiler. Now in terms of its dimensions, length, width, height, it is on par with the Hyundai Creta. However, its on-road presence does look a little smaller, and I think that's just because of the styling elements, the way it's shaped. It's just not as imposing in the flesh, but overall it's a very spacious car on the inside. So let's head in there and check it out. Now let's get into the inside, because again, this is not something we've seen from Suzuki before. It's very different from all of their other cars. Two-spoke steering wheel, that's new. You've got a fully digital display behind that for your instrument cluster. You've got a fully digital infotainment screen as well. Wireless phone charger. You've got a heated steering, heated seats, and a 10-way electrically adjustable seat as well. 360-degree camera. So they're really going all out with the equipment. You've got a sunroof as well. It's not panoramic, but it's a pretty large sunroof over here. Now in terms of equipment or what's going to come to India, we're not quite sure yet. These are the UK spec cars. There will be tweaks. Like, I doubt we're going to get heated steering wheels and heated seats in India. What you do get is massive storage as well, because this is a born electric platform. There's a lot of space efficiencies to be had. So you get this massive cubby hole over here. You also get reasonably large footwells, and we'll step into the back seat and check that out too. You've got a lot of controls on here. So your gears controls are a rotary dial. You've also got a button here for your regeneration settings and a button here for your drive mode settings. So this entire section is piano black, so it's a little prone to dust, but otherwise it's a very neatly done interior. There's a lot of hard plastic on here. The dash is hard plastic, this is hard plastic, and the seat is a mix of leatherette and fabric upholstery, but it all feels very upmarket and very high quality. You do feel like you're sitting in a very well built car. This is what space in the back looks like. You've got a reasonable amount of knee room. Under thigh support is not so bad. It's there. I mean, the floor is a little high being an EV, but it's not completely not there. Headroom as well, you know, despite being a slightly sloping roofline, I've got a couple of inches of free headroom over here. The seats, they're on rails, so you can actually slide this forward and back depending on how much boot space you need. And there's also a recline function, so you can set it up like this or recline it all the way back depending on what you need. There's an armrest. You can pull this down. You've got an armrest with cup holders over here, and when you pull this down, you have direct access into the boot as well. So space on the back is not too bad, and you've got 3 headrests over here as well. So you've got a headrest for your middle passenger. Safety is taken care of. You've got USB ports in the rear as well, but interestingly, I can't seem to find the AC vents in the back seat. And then you open the boot and you'll see there's a fair bit of boot space. The boot lip is a little high, and since the rear seats are slidable, you actually have some flexibility in terms of how much space you have. With the rear seat all the way forward, you have 306 liters, and then of course you can fold the rear seats down, and then you get a maximum of 562 liters of boot space. Okay, so what is the E Vitara like to drive? For starters, super refined. This is an electric car. There's no engine, a single electric motor on the front axle, and it's very quiet, very refined. You don't even hear that typical whine you get with most EVs. It's super silent. So now you do have drive modes. You've got an eco mode, normal mode, and sport mode. In the normal mode, it's reasonably good. You know, you've got more than enough power. You can make quick overtakes. But if you do want something more, you can bump it up into sport mode. Sport mode does dial it up. It's actually quite responsive. You just tap on the throttle and it does surge forward willingly. And it feels quite quick. There's also an eco mode, so if you do need the range, if you're running short of range, dial it into eco mode. It just dials back that throttle response, it dials back the power a little bit, and then you've got longer range. Now in terms of range, well, this is giving an efficiency of around 4.5-5 kilometers to the kilowatt. And considering it has a 61 kilowatt hour battery, that should mean it's good for a range of about 300 kilometers in the real world. Of course, that'll change depending on your driving style, depending on whether you're in the city, whether there's a lot of regen being used, or whether you're out on the highway. But yeah, 300 should be a good estimate. Then of course, there's the question of ride quality. How does it drive? How does it ride? Now, we're on UK roads, very different from what we have in India, but you do get a sense that this car is set up a little firmly. Of course, the batteries do add weight. When there's weight, they need to stiffen up the springs. So over some of the bumpier roads, you do have a little bit of vertical movement. You do feel that a little bit. It doesn't feel fully settled, but again, this could change for India because they would set up the suspension differently for our roads. In terms of handling, it's pretty neat. So you've got all of that weight low down, right? Because it's an EV, and that does give you a low center of gravity. The steering, it's nicely dialed in. It feels direct. EPS, so not much by way of feel, but it does feel very direct, and you can place the car quite accurately. The drive modes also adjust the steering weight. So when you're in sport mode, you do get a slightly weightier steering wheel, which obviously helps a little bit with just that sense of sportiness, in the sense that you're a little bit more in control of the car. And what else do you need to know about? Comfortable seats, lots of storage in the cabin, both down here and in terms of cubby holes up here. The car is pretty comfortable to drive, and you've actually got a lot of space even in the back. So as an overall family car, just as an all-round machine, Maruti Suzuki's really nailed the brief here. This 4.3 meter SUV, electric SUV segment is the biggest in the market today, and it's the biggest because this segment really offers you versatility, both in terms of where you can take these cars because they have the ground clearance, and also in terms of the space, comfort, and everything else, the features that they offer. So yeah, nice car to drive. We're looking forward to driving it in India because this honestly is just representative, and we're going to be driving it very soon, and you will see a full review on the Evo India YouTube channel, website, social media, everywhere once those reviews are done. So stay tuned for that. If you've got questions specifically about what it's like to drive in India, drop them in the comments and we will 100% answer them in our next drive review when we drive it in India. So in conclusion then, the E Vitara is a very strong car from Maruti Suzuki. They've got a lot of things right in terms of the space, the packaging, the features list, and also the refinement and the way that it drives. Now what will be critical for Maruti Suzuki is to get the pricing right. If they can price it just a little bit under the Hyundai Creta EV and the Mahindra BE6, really use those economies of scale that they have and price it well, they could have a real winner on their hands.